Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Magnitude Gaming here. I know it's been a while. I'd been away getting back into current Yu-Gi-Oh! And also finding a new job. I actually was successful in that part and was just adjusting to the new schedule in my new job. So yeah, I'm back. Once again. I recently checked and people continue to watch my videos and subscribe. We are at 750 subscribers and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. I really wanted to be at 1,000 by the end of the year, and while that may not happen, thought I'd give it a shot at least. Our last episode had Austin Coleman become the youngest champion in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 weeks later, the next big tournament was SJC Atlanta. The last time the Shonen Jump circuit was in Atlanta, it was John Jensen from Team Nexus, who won the title over his future teammate, Daniel Fitzgerald. This tournament will be recognized for having a lot of tournaments. Usually, the time after Nationals is a cooling down period. Nationals happen around summer, and YCS events usually restart around the last week of August or the first week of September. This event wasted no time, just 2 weeks later, and we were still in June. Return from Different Dimension is one of the most broken cards released in this game's history. It was running rampant ever since Paul Leviton used Bazoo Return months before. The meta had begun to change, and many duels began to move away from it. Mark Garcia, the runner-up at Nationals, didn't main any, I believe. He was running Royal Decrees to counter traps, so duelists for the most part began to cut copies from their decks or just opted to not play it at all. Over 500 duelists showed up at Atlanta to begin the new season. The road to the 2007 National season had officially started. The top 8 had a bunch of new players. James Warren of Team Villains topped his first event of various events. He was second Sasuke Samurai number 4 in Fairy Box. This was pretty much a coin flip strategy. It was a very risky strategy, but it ended up working for him, and he was in top 8. Former Shonen Jump champion Andrew Fidel had topped his first event in some time. Fidel was looking to become the second 2-time Shonen Jump champion. He was checking his deck with 2 creature swaps. Went well with his Spirit Reapers and Mystic Tomatoes. Robert Morgan of Team Extreme was on a roll. Aside from Nationals, he had topped the 3 previous events he had attended, all Shonen Jumps. He finished Swiss as the number 1 seed, to give himself a good advantage heading to top 8. Andrew Bartlett was an Atlanta native, making his first top 8. He was playing for Team Collusion. He had a great run to get into top 8, and he even beat Paul Leviton of Overdose in round 9. I liked the side deck a lot. The 2 spell cancelers and some burn cards were pretty cool. Zach Johnson of Team Evolution was also in the top cut. I believe he was also from the Atlanta area, or he was at least from the state of Georgia. He was playing a Cyberstein deck, similar to the one that finished second at the UK Nationals just weeks prior. He started off 7-0 before losing his last 2 rounds, but still managed to get in at 7th place. Sean Long was playing for Team C Squared. He was a big internet duelist according to the metagame website. He was well respected on forum sites like Pojo and Duelist Grounds. He was playing a standard Chaos Return deck, nothing unusual. David Gordon was also in his first top cut. His no-limit exterminations were a bit of a gamble. On one hand, it could hit something like Return from Different Dimension and put his opponent in a tough spot, but some players had also cut traps from their deck, so it was a gamble, but it worked out for him this time. John Henry Shauk's deck was very standard. He mained 2 decrees, but also sided a good amount of traps. So I'm guessing his plan for game 2 was to just side in all his traps once his opponent assumed he didn't really play any back rows, assuming he saw the decrees. Robert Morgan was a clear-cut favorite to win this event. Fidel may have been the former champion, but Morgan had all the momentum going to the event. He had topped the previous SJC events he attended. Sadly, fate, or in this case the alarm clock, wasn't on his side. Morgan overslept for his top 8 match. He had even requested a wake-up call from the hotel, but he never got it. Morgan didn't make it into the venue until almost an hour later, and thus he got a match loss. Sean Long got a free win and he was off the top 4. James Watt and his coin flip deck were successful in dismantling Andrew Bartlett. These unorthodox techs had taken James to top 4. Zach Johnson and his Cyberstein burn deck were on the way to top 4 after he was able to beat John Henry Shauk. And Friedel was also able to beat his opponent, David Gordon. Zach Johnson was able to win the first game against Friedel on just his second turn, thanks to his Cyberstein summoning a Cyber End Dragon and then equipping it with Megamorph. However, Friedel fought back and won the next 2 games to go to the finals. He was just 1 match win away from getting his second title. Sean Long played James Warren, and Long won the first game. The second game actually ended with Long getting a game loss halfway through the game, after both he and the judge realized that he had forgotten to shuffle a DD Warrior Lady back into his deck from the first game, thus resulting in an illegal deck. The loss didn't faze him though, and Long won Game 3 to go to the finals. Team Nexus' Andrew Fidel and Team C Square's Sean Long were down to the finals. Fidel was a favorite, but with a little luck and determination, Sean Long had gotten here, and he wasn't going to make this easy for Fidel to just take a second title. The first game was long, no pun intended, and both duelists were trying to gain advantage against one another. For the most part, the game was on Sean Long's side. However, Sean Long used Confiscation and Fidel only had 1 card in his hand, Gold. This triggered his effect, destroying Sean Long's face down card and his Jinzo. Fidel was able to summon another monster next turn and just steal the game. The second game was a grind game much like the first. A Sugar Priest would soon clear Firdella's field, and on the next turn, Wang won with attacks from Dekoichi and Chaos Sorcerer. Game 3 started slow with both players, and neither had much going. To end the duel, Shan Wang summoned Cyber Dragon, and treated it from always to destroy Firdella's set card, then summoned Chaos Sorcerer before using Nobleman of Crossout to remove the only monster Firdella had to protect his life points. Shan Wang had a win for the ages. He wasn't a contender by any means, and he flew under the radar. Even with his free top 8 win, he saw to overcome 2 really good duelists, and 2 blown games through a game loss and a misread on his part. Perhaps that made the win feel that much sweeter. Shan Wang denied Firdella of his second title, and while he did give Chaos Return the win, the format was moving further and further away from the Chaos Return strategy. Thanks once again, guys. The next video will be SJC Denver 2006, one of the most stacked events of the UDE era in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. That's a T for Magnitude, guys. Thank you so much for watching.